No player in the Premier League has made more mistakes leading to goal this season than David De Gea. That's his source.
That's criminal.
That's criminal. That's major. That's massive. There's also an issue with his ability to play the ball with his feet. I think it was a Serie A page on Twitter that made a post and said, they crowned. These things matter. It's social media banter, but it matters.
The Serie A, we know Serie A.
And then they crowned Varashalia as like, the king of Naples is here. But bruh, it actually is Osimhen.
Messi to Barcelona.
Messi to Barcelona will be a hit for the emotional reasons, right? But for the actual footballing reasons, I'm not very sure. Barcelona, they have the Premier, they have their La Liga on lock, but he might come in and then give them that extra impetus in in Champions League, in the other cup games and everything. But I
think it's a miss. I think he should follow in the footsteps of his fellow goats and go back. We saw how that went. You've accomplished everything you can with a club. You don't need that extra. Like, you're already Messi, you're already Barcelona's greatest ever player.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to yet another episode of Shangalo on this fine Monday. It's a very fine Monday, and we're going to address some things on this Monday. We're going to get right into it with our question of the day. This is a topic that was swept under the rug last weekend, and our producer Jerry was mad about it. But the football gods have graced us with yet another opportunity to table Manchester United and Ten Hag's matter.
Most definitely.
So another loss for Manchester United, identical to the last one, 1-0. The top 4 spot is slipping away. I would say that's the question of the day to the rest of you guys. Do you think it's slipping away? That's my opinion. What's the opinion of a Manchester United?
So the question of the day is Manchester United's top 4 spot on that threat.
Exactly.
It's definitely on that threat, right? Liverpool look like they're they're hunting for 6 wins on the trot. Right? 6 wins on the trot, right?
Yep.
And Manchester United are finding it hard to pick up those points, right? But the only thing I can say is that team is tired. You can just see it. You see the way they play. Like, it's different from what they played when, there was that we're in the title race conversation, right? So that's just what it is. It's not an excuse, right? 57 games is what you would have to do if you want to be, at the top of the Premier League. Manchester United have played the most number of games of any team in the top 5 leagues in Europe. That's there. But the way they're just faltering, you start to ask questions like, can this team really do,
That's my question. Like, is it a question of fatigue, or has the luck run out where you just winning games off the high or whatever? Was the counter-attack football working, or are you starting to wonder that is this squad actually good enough? Like, how many players need to go again? Do you need a rebuild? Like, is the summer window looking how it looked to you a few months ago?
To be very honest with you, I don't think that everything is a shambles, right? I think that there has been progress. I believe that we're playing, even in these losses, right? We're still managing to play better than the way we played when we lost, a few seasons ago. We've had some big losses this season, but Manchester United are still the team with the highest number of clean sheets this season.
Speaking of those clean sheets, that makes me think about David De Gea. Are you proud of those clean sheets and the man that's getting you there?
At the end of the day, it's David De Gea.
Or you sacrifice those clean sheets for a steady left hand?
The truth is, he's had some high-profile mistakes this season. No player in the Premier League has made the most. He's the player in the. No player in the Premier League has made more mistakes leading to goal this season than David De Gea. That's his source.
That's criminal.
That's criminal. That's major. That's massive. There's also an issue with his ability to play the ball with his feet. That's problematic at the moment. So I believe strongly that Manchester United need to find a goalkeeper that will put.
But Ten Hag came out after the game to say that they're still trying to give him a contract. Do you believe that?
That's what Ten Hag does. Behind the scenes, look at how he has handled Maguire. He knows that the best place to use Maguire in that Manchester United squad is on the bench, right? You can't kick him out of the squad because of, all the extra that will come with English media. He plays well for the, he's England, he's the Manchester United captain, blah, blah. No problem. I won't kick him out of the squad, but I'll leave him in on the bench. But he's not smelling this first 11 as long as I can keep him out of it.
David De Gea? Do you think that's going to be the case with David De Gea?
Harry Maguire.
But do you think that's going to be the case with David De Gea next season? Or
if they can get a goalkeeper that's good enough to replace him, definitely. I'm sure that there's that conversation going on behind closed doors. Manchester United are just one good midfielder away from being a better squad than they are. One midfielder, one number 9, and a backup goalkeeper, and I think we're good to go.
So do you think you're making top 4 still, yes or no?
I do believe so. I do believe so.
Let us know in the comment section what you think Manchester United's fate is going to be come the end of the season. But moving on from that and moving further up the table, well, I mean, we can stay around that area because it's the same conversation, to be honest. Because further up the table, there was a big game, Arsenal versus Newcastle, second versus third in the Premier League, and it delivered. It was a very feisty occasion. St. James's Park was rocking as you would expect.
Definitely it was, and I think Arsenal they did good for themselves.
Yeah.
Like they went to St. James's Park and they did not dull themselves, right? Newcastle were guilty of not taking some of the chances that they had earlier in the game, but Arsenal looked like, okay, a little bit of that pressure is off them. Yeah. Seeing as they're no more at the top, right? That's what it looks like. So they were able to, put in some goals.
Yeah, there's nothing to lose right now. There's really nothing. It's City's title to lose. And I feel like this is the position Arsenal would have been better suited to have been for the entire title race. Just playing like this and hoping City falter. Because the pressure of City chasing them clearly got to them. Because the performances losing against Southampton, drawing to Southampton and West Ham, but then beating Newcastle 2-0 at home. It says everything, to be honest.
Yeah, most definitely.
But I mean, good job to them at the end of the day. They have to win. They have to keep the pressure on City. If City falter, they're proving that they'll be there. Yeah,
definitely. Massive props to them. And it was good. I mean, for the rest of the chasing pack, for the top 4 that Newcastle ended up losing.
Exactly.
Because that meant Manchester United are,
I mean, your loss wasn't as fatal.
Liverpool are still in and around. So, yeah, it just makes it a lot more interesting.
Exactly.
The race for the top 4.
Still on the top end of the table, Manchester City are in Manchester City mood, as we all knew was going to happen. And the usual suspects are stepping up. Over the past few seasons, Gundogan has stepped up in these moments time and time again. De Bruyne has time and time again. And it's just showing that championship mentality is not a joke. It's not like...
it definitely counts for something.
But
it definitely counts for something. But the most interesting headline out of that fixture was the fact that Haaland left. He left the penalty for Gundogan, right? And Gundogan lost the penalty, right? Gundogan, had the opportunity to score a hat-trick. He had scored the first 2 goals. So Haaland let him take the penalty, and immediately after I lost the penalty, Pep Guardiola was berating Haaland. You should have taken it. You should have taken it. And then Leeds went on to score 1. So it ended up being a nervy ending to the game. But, it was Leeds they played, right?
Yeah, 2-1 at home.
So it was just that winning mentality.
It shows Pep's winning mentality, and he's probably quite disappointed in Gundogan for stepping up as well and taking it off. It's worth saying that Gundogan is a very good penalty taker. He's taking penalties for City. He's been their penalty taker.
He hardly misses.
Yeah, he hardly.
That was a one-off. Well.
So it was a one-off as well. And I guess final season, they know he's leaving the club. The hat-trick would have been nice to garnish the career.
But Guardiola didn't want to do that. He was changing him for Pep. He said you should have taken. And then even after the game, right, they asked him about it and he was still livid. He was like, it doesn't matter, just take it, just cover. But
he's not playing with his treble. Right. But yeah, that's the news from the Premier League, the top end of the Premier League. I don't think we have enough time to get into what's going on at the bottom of the Premier League.
I mean, it's looking interesting. Good for West Ham.
Very good for West Ham.
They've confirmed that they're staying with that win over Manchester United.
The theory is proving a team fighting for his life is just as
dangerous as a team fighting for the top 4, true.
So moving on, Serie A, it's very exciting in Serie A at the moment.
Most definitely.
It's probably the most exciting league in Europe at the moment, considering how we don't know where anybody is going to finish. It's been like, okay, so first was locked up, but between second to fifth,
7th,
for most of the season, anybody could have finished anywhere. True that. You could have looked like a Champions League team all season and they wounded up playing Europa League.
And that's exactly the case of Roma right now.
Exactly the case for Roma, because it's a very peculiar season because Juventus were docked off 15 points as we mentioned earlier, and those 15 points were now reinstated and they find themselves back in second position.
And it's something that we mentioned, right, in previous episodes, that kudos to Juve, like irrespective of them being docked points,
Yep.
they did not, they didn't relax.
They didn't allow them.
They kept going for those wins. They kept getting results, and immediately the 15 points were reinstated. They found themselves back in second. And, good for them.
So it was a very exciting weekend in Serie A. It was kind of like a mini tournament that would probably be pivotal to where everybody finishes.
Most
so Juve played Atalanta, Roma played Inter Milan, AC Milan played Lazio. These are all teams in the top 6 of the table. Juve with a 2-0 victory over Atalanta, securing their second spot. They're looking like they've got that locked in. Roma have lost again to Inter, and it seems like psychologically, Juve getting those points back just knocked Roma off their stride.
I think also that Roma squad is a bit stretched, and Tammy Abraham himself not firing on all cylinders like we saw last season is also counting against them, right? Because they're not really scoring goals. They're not scoring as much as they need. They have a good creator in Paulo Dybala. Their defense is not that shabby, right? But up front is not really happening for them, and I think that's coming to play, and that's counting against them. But they lost against AC Milan this season. They lost against Inter Milan. They couldn't beat any of the Milan sides.
They're losing to teams in and around them, and that's never a good sign.
Yeah, that definitely is bad.
Yeah, Roma have slipped down to 7th. It's looking like it could be Europa League football for them once again. Quite disappointing. We root for Jose.
They're still in Europa League.
So whilst Roma have slipped down to 7th, their Champions League dreams are not completely out of touching distance just yet because they still have a Europa League semi-final to play.
And we know we know Mourinho, right? Mourinho, when it comes to those kinds of cup games.
Historically, Mourinho is a cup manager, and he's proved it at Roma just last season.
Proved it at Roma last season, proved it at Manchester United when he won the Europa League.
It's the history of the manager.
You can't write them off from the Champions League.
You can't write them off. And up against Bayern Leverkusen, they are a strong side, but it's not a side where you think Roma can get results here.
True.
2 evenly matched teams, and I think with the edge of Jose Mourinho, and I'm going to be
Roma. I think Roma will take that one too.
All right, but speaking of the Bundesliga and Bundesliga sides, that's another league where things are still firing up. Yeah. Dortmund haven't let go of it. So yeah, it looked like Dortmund were going to win titles for the first time in so many years, but Bayern showed who they can be, came back inside to them. Bayern fumbled this by bringing a new manager who... we all know what's going on with that Bayern, Chelsea debacle, but yeah, now they've invited Dortmund back in.
Yeah, so it was interesting because the game that actually put Bayern over Dortmund was Thomas Tuchel's first game for Bayern Munich, right? Where they blew Dortmund away, at the Allianz, right? And it looks like okay, Tuchel is here, Bayern is here, it's going to go through, but now there's just 1 point between them.
1 point separates the sides going to the right.
Dortmund, they beat these people 6-0. You know
Bellingham, that 2 goals.
They are coming for it. So yeah, it's interesting in Bundesliga, and it's good. It's good, right? Because Bayern have historically just always, just running.
We don't really like seeing those monopolies in football. Seeing a side win after, look at Napoli winning for the first time. Look at the celebrations. I don't know if we've met since Napoli actually secured the title. They secured it over the weekend.
Over the weekend. We met on Friday before they did.
Well, we're going to go back to Serie A and congratulate our boy that we've been rooting for over the course of the entire season. Round of applause across the studio for Victor Osimhen. Napoli's first title in 33 years. They haven't accomplished this since Diego Maradona was playing for them. And yeah, the scenes were just incredible.
I mean, it's crazy because this is a team that has that pedigree as well, right? They're a historically great team. They've had some of the greatest players in the world, and it just hasn't happened for them for a very long time. Imagine, let's say...
It's exactly like the Liverpool situation. 30 years, a team with all that history, had great players.
Exactly.
And when you win with Maradona, you don't think, you're not going to win again for 33 years. You think something's going to happen again. And
definitely.
To come close time after time, the Higuain years, the Cavani years, the... what's this, our smoking manager that went to Chelsea? He built a great side that couldn't get over the line. So for Osimhen to accomplish that, it's a very big accomplishment, and it puts him... For Napoli players, and when you see what the crowd is saying, he's up there with Diego Maradona for that.
Most definitely, and Napoli is one of those sides that easily make you a cult hero, right? So he's definitely on legend status.
And I think I've mentioned it at this club before that there's some clubs that just give attackers superpowers, like the Dortmunds, the Atleticos, Liverpools. Napoli is one of those clubs, and Osimhen is a hero now for that.
True, and it's easy to talk about what Napoli are achieving, but don't forget, Spalletti has been excellent, right? Consider his progression into Napoli. When he was at Udinese, the things he did with Udinese as well, you would say, okay, yes, this is a manager that's like...
Bright ideas.
Bright ideas. And he's come and done it with Napoli, and, it's just massive.
Okay, hats off to Napoli, hats off to Maradona, hats off to those.
Did you say Maradona?
Maradona. You have to give him that.
But you know what I don't really like is the fact that there's a hint of it really is Osimhen, because Osimhen not being there is what knocked them out of the Champions League, right? It really is Osimhen. I mean, Kvaratskhelia, you can say this or that, and that, but there's something that I saw, right? I think it was a Serie A page on Twitter that made a post and said, they crowned. These things matter, I mean, it's social media banter, but it matters.
The Serie A, we know Serie A.
And then they crowned Kvaratskhelia as like, the king of Naples is here, but bruh, it actually is Osimhen.
Well, it's all good. Streets know. We saw when they were presented the medals. In the
and you saw the reception for Osimhen. Yeah.
So yeah, he's the talisman, and hats off to him. Your seat is still waiting for you on Shangalo.
Most definitely.
All right, moving on. So we just touched on Champions League, but there are big Champions League games coming up. The biggest one, I think it's probably the biggest tie that you could have, I guess, dreamt of. You look at Manchester City at this stage, or at any stage really. Manchester City versus Real Madrid. Real Madrid, the reigning champions, and a team that monopolized Champions League versus Manchester City, who probably look like the best team in the world. They have the hottest striker in the world, probably the best manager in the world with a trophy that's evaded him. So for him to have to beat, and this is also a fixture that Manchester City bottled 2 years ago.
Yes.
So there's a lot riding on this game. Pep Guardiola being the Barcelona legend against Real Madrid, he's going to want to win it for that reason. How do you think it's going to go down?
I mean, football is so like the stories.
There's so many.
It's just crazy. So, for Real Madrid, we all know, especially for Man City, I beg your pardon. For Man City, we all know that Champions League title is the one that they really. Because I mean, there was this picture that came out. Jack Grealish, right? He posted a picture of his updates, like wife was having like a massage or something, and we saw a picture in the dressing room of the Champions League trophy, right? They're like, this is the one. This is the one that we're going for, and they've looked like it throughout this this run in the Champions League. But with Real Madrid, they've not been playing well in the league, but they just have that pedigree. They just have that Champions League pedigree. So it's difficult to call.
It's extremely
difficult to call, but it definitely will be interesting to watch.
If I had to pick, it's actually impossible to call it, because
very difficult to call.
I feel like what I want to say is something I've said time and time again. Like Madrid, they don't look that good, and City. Literally every season for the past 7 seasons, you expect City to win every game that they play. You expect them to knock out. Every time they lose in Champions League, it's a surprise. When it was Tottenham, when it was Liverpool, when it was
Real Madrid.
It was literally a surprise that time as well. So if I have to pick, I think surely this is the time Manchester City do it. Surely, just based on the odds, you can't try this many times, spend this much money.
Oh, well, you can't. You can't. That's what I want, though.
I mean, but the thing is, that's what I want. I'm so torn because I don't want Madrid to win it either. So I'm happy one of them is going to be out, but one of them is probably going to win it.
Because of your Messi and your
Messi. It's Liverpool, bro. As in, they're the ones that keep beating us. So, either way, let us know in the comment section who you'd like to win that game. It's the biggest game in football, and thoughts, predictions.
I think we'd have a prediction game on that, right? Like you can win airtime. I think
exactly. So prediction game out, courtesy of Shangalo and Jerry. Predict the scores. The first person to predict the scores of the Real Madrid versus Manchester City match live on the Bernabeu. Predict the scores accurately, wins airtime.
Most definitely.
Keep an eye on our page for more details. Terms and conditions may or may not apply.
No, definitely apply.
All right, the next game is another big game, a game we haven't seen in a long time, and speaks to the strength of Serie A and I guess Milan in particular.
Yeah, the
Milan derby in the Champions League semi-finals. This is something that I think football fans and Serie A lovers have been waiting for a very long time, because these are two clubs that pretty much all the footballing greats have played for Milan or Inter Milan. Ballon d'Or winners have played there. They've won multiple Champions Leagues between them. We can even remember, we can vividly remember them winning Champions Leagues with AC Milan beating Liverpool and the Milan final with Inter Milan final with Jose Mourinho, but it just hadn't happened for them for a very long time. So to be back on this stage, both of them having won 2 of the last 3 Serie A titles, so they're both very strong sides. A point separates them in Serie A at the moment. It's going to be an incredible game.
Yeah, and it's also another one that will be difficult to call. That is difficult to call.
This is for those reasons. They both won recently. They both have good size, good attackers.
They're both playing well. I think Lukaku too has started scoring. Milan don't have any issues with with finding the back of the net. It'll be interesting, but it's also very difficult to call. And another thing is that they both play in the same stadium, so will home advantage really count? Will it really count?
How does the allocation work?
How does it work,
do
right?
70-30 for one game, 50-50 for the other game.
So
Either way, it's going to be one hell of a spectacle. A derby on this stage is like imagine Arsenal playing Tottenham on this stage.
It's massive,
like,
and it also goes to say a lot about the Serie A and the quality of Serie A this season.
Yeah,
right? We saw three Serie A sides in the quarterfinals, right?
Yep.
2 in the semi-finals now. So that's
Serie A has had like four different winners in the last 4 seasons. It's the most competitive league in the world right now.
At the moment,
they're getting the rewards for that. Like we said that about the Premier League, playing those tough games so many times. Like now in Serie A, almost every other game they're playing a team that wants to play in the Champions League.
True.
And that has shown and has gotten them to where they are right now.
Most definitely.
So that's another big game.
There's also the Serie A side in the Europa League contention as well. So
exactly.
I mean it's big.
Yeah. So yeah, who do you think is going to win that game if you had to call it? Just don't think about it, just call it.
AC Milan.
Yeah, I'm going to go AC Milan. But I think Rafael Leao...
He's injured. Oof. Rafael Leao is injured.
Is he going to miss both legs?
He might miss the first leg.
No, he missed the first leg. Okay, that could change things. But I'm still going to back AC Milan for that one. And our last segment of the day, we're going to go really quickly on this. Just give me your quick thoughts. And you guys give me your thoughts in the comment section as well. Hit or miss. Messi to Barcelona.
Messi to Barcelona will be a hit for the emotional reasons, right? But for the actual footballing reasons, I'm not very sure. Barcelona, they have the Premier, they have their La Liga on lock, but he might come in and then give them that extra impetus in in Champions League, in the other cup games and everything. But I mean,
I think it's a miss. I think he should follow in the footsteps of his fellow goats and go back. We saw how that went. You've accomplished everything you can with a club. You don't need that extra. Like you're already Messi, you're already Barcelona's greatest ever player.
Yeah, true.
So who wins in this situation?
True. I mean, you should just go to Al Hilal. We're hearing £400 million.
Go to Al Hilal, go to the States and cash out.
Just gonna cash out.
But yeah, those are our thoughts on Messi to Barcelona's move. Let us know in the comment section what you think on the move. Also, our question of the day, do you think Manchester United's top 4 is slipping away? Let us know what you think there. And let us know your predictions for the Champions League and the Europa League games coming up. Before you go, here are our predictions for those games. And there's an episode. Thanks for rocking with us once again. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on Friday.
Peace.
Safe.